Everybody, this is Father Bob. Thanks for tuning in to the South Campus show. I am just approaching the farm of Dickie and Mary Schmieg. They're the parents of parishioner and staff member Julie Schmieg, who is might be coming up here now. On a tractor, I might add, as you can see. Hey, Julie. You look right at home, like you've done that before. Come on down.
Well, hey, Father Bob and Arlo, welcome to the farm.
Thank you, Julie.
Come on over. Have a seat on the comfy
Beautiful
couch
out here. The our studio couches, all a farm style, hay bales, appropriate. So, Julie, tell us a little bit about the history of the farm. I know it's been here a long time.
Sure. It is a fifth generation dairy farm. And so we have to go all the way back to Germany to trace that. My great-great-grandfather Johann was born in Germany. And then in 1847, he came across, emigrated to America, worked for a while in New York on a dairy farm, then ended up in St. Louis working on the railroads. And then he came up the Mississippi River. In 1853, he homesteaded this farm. And so he then shortly thereafter met and married Maria Schneider, and they had 4 children, one of which was John Martin, my great grandfather, and then he married Teresa Timmers. They had 12 children, and for a while 3 of their sons, my grandpa John Benedict, and then his brothers Alphonse, and then the 3 brothers had 3 different farms on Marsh Lake Road here. So there were 3 Schmieg farms along Marsh Lake Road at one time. And then my grandpa, John Benedict, married Gertrude Cayley at St. Victoria. And Gertrude's farm, the Cayley farm, was actually by Lake Zumbra, where the group camp is there. That was the Cayley farm. And so my grandma and grandpa had 4 kids, my dad, and then his sisters Marilyn, Rosie, and Joni. And my dad then went to Delno, and he married an Irish lass from Delno, my mom, Mary Dunn. And so then Mom and Dad have had 8 kids, so Barb, Ron, Paul, Mark, Kathy, Julianne, Dale. Those are my siblings growing up on the farm. And then now Mom and Dad, they have 14 grandchildren and just welcomed their very first great-grandchild this spring, little Colt, of which, Father, we were honored to have you celebrate Colt's baptism.
I remember.
At St. Victoria, the same church where his great-great-great-grandfather was baptized. So thank you for being part of our family heritage with that.
Wow. And there's great continuity in that, Julie. I'm impressed by the generations and the span and the connection going way back. And but the farms, and when I came here 24 years ago, I'm told at one time, and maybe not at that time, there were 17 farms between Victoria and Chaska.
Oh, sure.
And this is one of the remaining few. It's very special.
Yes. It was kind of we were the dairy belt. Clarence and Dorothy Kelser, the farm just to the east of us, whose son Steve is farming that land, but it was Clarence's ancestors, Wendell and Grimm, who actually cultivated the first winter hardy alfalfa for Minnesota. And so you can go out to Carver Park and see the Grimm farm there. And so that's what really boomed this as the dairy belt. That and just the rich soil, the beautiful land, the rich soil that the glaciers left. We are benefactors of that, and we grow these wonderfully abundant crops. So
the hills and the varied terrain of the Victoria area, it does. It's the kind of woodlands and the hills and the farm and the whole thing. I love it, and really you've been part of this whole tradition, and it's in your bones, it's in your blood. You love it. I love the way you drove that tractor. You obviously have experience on the farm. So tell me a little bit, Julie, as a kid growing up on a farm. I'm a city kid.
Sure.
We go down to the park and play ball and all this, jump in the creek maybe, but what are some of your fondest memories growing up on the farm?
Sure. I think I was very blessed to grow up so close to my grandparents. I grew up in a house down in the pasture. Dad bought an acre of land from Grandpa and moved a house there. So not the little house on the prairie, but the little house in the pasture.
Okay.
So we were down there. Grandma and Grandpa were up here. And so just wonderful memories. And then my other grandparents, Grandma and Grandpa Dunn, were in Delno. And so they were nice and close. So we always got to see everybody. As far as growing up on the farm, just my dad remembers horses, working with the horses when he was a little kid. And then Grandpa started transitioning to the tractors. And so this is, my grandpa bought this one in 1952. It's a Farmel C, so we like the red tractors. On this farm, we have 6 tractors right now. As far as growing up on the farm, it was just a wonderful experience because everything was about family, and you were all here and you were all going through that routine of, milking the cows in the morning. There was a group that did that, and then through the summer it's all the baling hay. So I didn't go to like camp as a kid. I went to farm camp as a kid. So pretty much we would get 4 crops of hay every summer. So pretty much we were baling hay all of the time, going between those crops, and just like I say, just being in God's glorious outdoors here, and receiving the abundant blessings of the crops that provide so well. With farming, there's the different seasons you go through. There's the planting and the growing and the harvesting, and then the resting. The land gets to rest a little bit before it all starts again. But with dairy farming, the cows, they get milked twice a day, every day, 365.
Consistency.
So it's all about the cows. So,
Yeah.
But like I say, just growing up, I just have the wonderful memories of this is home. This is home, and
Yeah.
this is what we are about. And
Yeah.
farming is what we do. It is it's a gift that the land gives us that we can turn back and give to others, so that others can put food on their table. So that's why
Beautiful.
we do what we do.
It's kind of your mission. You're part of something bigger and feeding the world, really.
Yes.
And
Yep.
I can see, the excited way you talk about growing up, just what this farm means to you, but it's about family and it's your life. And there are farms left in the parish. I think of the Hess farm,
Yep.
the Kelser
Kelser's.
farm, your farm.
Yep.
There's but we've grown, and now the city's kind of bumped up against Victoria, and here we are. But to preserve this is a beautiful thing in the heritage, because it's been a great gift to the community. This is just a city boy question asking. Like, I'm looking at this corn. How tall is that, would you say?
Oh, good question. Well, let's see. I'm 5'4". Boy, are we saying 8 feet if we go to the top of the tassel?
Maybe.
So,
yeah.
okay.
Okay.
So it's tall. We had
7.5.
It was this year. We've just had an abundant rainfall this spring, and so the old saying, knee high by the 4th of July.
Yeah.
Well, this year it was sky high by the 4th of July.
Yeah.
That corn by July 4th was up there.
Yep.
So
Typically, I was in southern Illinois. The corn was 12 feet high, I swear.
Oh goodness. Okay.
Yeah, I mean, just towering. Is this a typical height that it reaches?
I would say it's maybe this year's a little bit taller, just because we had so much abundant rain and that. So, but for our farm, this is kind of the typical. So,
Depended on, maybe I'm just the details. So much about the farm I don't know. I'm asking these things, but it depends on the rain, the moisture, the heat, probably, and some other factors.
Everything's always weather dependent. Like we say, for farmers, you don't have to go to Vegas to gamble. You just go out to the back 40, roll the dice, and see what the weather brings you, and say a prayer.
Yeah. And I just had one other element about the farm and the growth and the future, and I know this is very near and dear to your heart, but you wrote a beautiful reflection about the transition from gravel to pavement, and what it really marked the beginning of a new era and a goodbye to something you knew for a long time. What about the future of the farm, and what are you doing to preserve that?
Great question. It is something where what we just say is we're going to farm for as long as we can, as long as God blesses us with the abundant crops and just the ability to keep this farm growing. No one knows what the future holds for any of us, but we just know we're gonna farm for as long as we can, because farming is what we do, and that's the gift that we're able to give back to the community. So, and the gravel, there's something about the road did get paved this summer just as Victoria rolls south and continues to grow, and so just there was kind of a bittersweet moment in losing that gravel, because that gravel it's of the earth, and just the crunch and the sound and the feel of the gravel as you come down, it slows you down and it makes you appreciate the countryside that is surrounding you and the country that you're a part of. And so now there's a smooth and silent approach now to the farm with the pay, but once you turn onto the farm, there's that gravel again, and then the sound of the gravel, you know that you're home, you know you're in the country when you hit that gravel. So
it's really a sensate thing that evokes a lot of memories and fond memories, and I will say the pavement's good for skateboarders.
Well, there you go.
Okay. So, but there's many other facets of the farm, the barns and the barn cats and the other things and the pieces. There's a lot of equipment out here too. I'm amazed, and there's a real investment in a farm in terms of equipment, not just labor energy, but the resources you need to maintain a farm and silo.
It is.
So on.
Yeah.
But folks, Julie, in her spare time, is a member of the St. Victoria Parish Family staff, parish team, and does a great job, and has come up with a title for a job that says it all.
Okay.
Tell them your job title.
Well, the job title is Ministry Support Services. So it's just offering service to many facets of ministry at the parish level. And one of the bigger pieces is what I call the air traffic controller piece, in that Father Bob is quite many flights coming and going all the time. And so one of the pieces that I try to track on radar is Father's comings and goings. So I call it air traffic controller.
You're excellent. You do a very good job.
There we go.
With a demanding job.
Yes.
I don't let a lot of grass grow under my feet,
that
or
you don't.
hay or whatever else. We've got things to do, right?
Yes.
But, Julie, you do a great job of tracking me and keeping track of and so forth. Not always easy, for sure, but Julie does a great job with all of that, and very resourceful. Plus the other facet you really know the parish literally inside out with the different ministries and activities. It's so much, just keeping and kind of at the heart and all of that. That's much appreciated. What's the what do you like as one of the more rewarding parts of your job, or what do you go, this is why I do what I do?
Sure. I think one of the pieces I do is welcoming new parishioners who come to join the parish. And so it is something where it's kind of like rolling out that welcome mat and being the benefit of Victoria. St. Victoria is such a welcoming community. It has that rich heritage. And that is something, I remember when we were building the newer church and we were going from a 200-seat church to potentially 1,200. And one of our mantras moving forward was, how do we keep the big small? How do we, as we grow into this new church, how do we still keep that small, connected parish feel? And so one of the joys for me is welcoming these new parishioners as they come in, and then knowing that they'll actually have a chance to sit down and meet with you or Deacon Ray. This was pre-COVID, but actually have a chance to sit down and meet with you and spend time with you, getting to know each other, and it's like joining part of that larger Catholic community family. That's why we call it St. Victoria Parish Family. So that's something that kind of the heritage that's been the 5 generations before me, getting to pass that on to others and welcoming them
I love the
on
connection.
board.
Yeah. That it's really about where we come from and who we are now, and welcoming others as we move into the future. And the Bienvenidos welcome ministry is a big part of it. And you're Julie, you have a natural sense of welcome, and that people feel that, even on the phone too. I want to tell you, you're making appointments for a whatever, and so that's so much appreciated. Is there anything else about the farm or Julie Schmieg you'd want to offer? Add?
Well, there we go.
Hobbies. Well, I know you love. You're a camper. You're a hiker. You're an outdoorsy kind of girl. Yeah. We got to get into something about the North Shore. Say what the North Shore means to you.
Well, in a sense, the North Shore of Lake Superior for my family was kind of our home away from home, because growing up on a farm, especially a dairy farm as a kid, it's 365, 24/7, and then there was 10 of us in a Vista Cruiser station wagon. so when we went on vacation, we could never go very far for very long.
I'm trying to imagine that 10 in a Vista Cruiser. We had 7.
My mom even made little curtains for the back windows so that the little kids could sleep on the long drive north. So the North Shore of Lake Superior was where we could go, was a destination for us. That was Scenic Point Resort right outside of Two Harbors, and that was our home away from home. And just every year to go there and just experience that, just the glorious gift of what the North Shore has to offer, and that it's, and as expansive as it is, it still creates that small little family focus where you can be together and just experience creation anew that way. So many wonderful memories, and we still go up there. We've been going up there for 50 years to the same place, and so we've had mom, dad, 4 generations now going up to the North Shore. So
you might say you're regulars up there then.
Yes.
But it's again, it's about family here together, working, common mission, loving the life here, and then having a destination place is always kind of the road trip and all of that.
Yes.
Beautiful.
So.
Well, Julie, just we always have our magic hat, and this week, because we're on the farm, this is an official Julie Schmieg hat, and the question reads, what is the worst snowstorm you ever saw on the farm?
Good question. Well, the worst one I ever saw was, of course, the Halloween blizzard. So it was such that it came up by such a surprise, and we're at the top of the hill here with the northern exposure. So those drifts were so high, and some of our cows were still down in the pasture, and so we actually had to, because they couldn't come up through the lane because it was snowbound. So we actually had to take a trailer down onto what was then Guernsey Avenue, gravel road, cut the fence, and get the cows out that way to get them back up here. So that
you took them down the road.
We in a trailer, yes,
trailer.
To get them back up here. So because we couldn't get them up through the pasture because the snow was so deep. So that was, we get some good blizzards out here, and it's just part of living in Minnesota.
That's right. The old timers talk about the blizzard of 1940, Armistice Day, and so forth. But we've had some other wallopers.
My dad remembers that one, Armistice Day blizzard, and he remembers that they slept in the kitchen because with the wood cooking stove there, and he remembers sleeping in the kitchen. That's where they were all huddled. So
He had to have been very young. That's a long time ago. So, well, Julie, thank you so much. And I love the opportunity to get out the farm, and you always talk about it.
Anytime.
And this is a beautiful late September day. It feels like summer almost, although it was the first day of fall yesterday. And I can see why you love the land so much. And thanks what you bring to the staff and the heritage that farms like yours bring to the various families. So.
Well, the land gives life, and so that's what we are the benefactors of.
And I might add, Arlo loves it out here, I can tell.
He does.
So,
he's just soaking it all up.
Thank you, Julie. And
sure.
So, folks, from the South Campus on the Dickie and Mary Schmieg farm, this is Father Bob saying so long, and we'll hope to see you next week. Thanks for tuning in.
Okay, so just a little more history about the farm. We actually have some Victoria history because this barn used to stand in Victoria. This was a D-town barn. And so where Lions Park is, where the ballpark is, across the street there's the 2-story brick apartment building. That's where this barn used to stand. And then in 1952, it was moved out to our farm on the back of a big semi-trailer. It actually went past the church and they brought it down here and up through the fields. So the upper part of the barn is where we store our hay, and then the lower part of the barn is where we milk our cows. So, and then this is the silo where we put in all of our chopped corn, and we call it cow coleslaw. So a good winter feed for the cows there. So, but yeah, this barn used to stand in Victoria. Mm-hmm.
Wow. And you know, Dickie was saying here we are at a high spot, kind of going south. It all goes down to the Minnesota River Valley, and then going north maybe to the Crow River. Interesting, but this is got a nice breeze up here.
There's always a breeze on the farm. Yes. So we're very blessed that way.
So where would you take us next?
Okay, well, so this is called the new barn. So I'll take you over to the old barn.
Let's go.
Show him his calves.
Okay.
You're going to show him his calves?
So here we've got some calves. So when the calves are born, they're about anywhere from 70 to 100 pounds, about the size of Arlo here.
Yeah.
So here's the calf bottle for the calves.
Yeah.
And then we gradually transition them over to the solid food. So, but this is what we call
Looks
our
like
little
this guy's
calf huts or our
thirsty.
calf condos. Yes, there we go.
So this calf is sucking on it.
Yeah.
He ain't gonna suck too long. It's wet.
So this is the old barn, and so part of this was built in about 1866 is what my dad thinks. There was a part that was actually before the Civil War, which is down now, and this was the part that was built after the Civil War. And so it is, there used to be horses in there when we were horse farming back in the day before tractors, and now it's used for all of our hay storage for the summer for the heifers that you see over there. So that's their little salad bar over there. So and so the farm, we're up on a high hill here, and so actually if you look across to the north, way off on the horizon, you can see the church steeple, St. Victoria's Church steeple.
You can see it, I can't see it, but I take your word for it. Beautiful.
It's there. You can get lost in there. If you do, just follow a rope. Eventually it'll take you out. There's sense all over.
Just pull it out.
So
Yeah, just to pull it down.
Just take it off?
You can take it down.
Oh, I see.
I would. You want to take it off? You can that carrot. Did you get it? I'll have to laugh.
Wait a minute. You're going to eat that.
yeah, right.
But it's good enough to eat, man. There you go, Julie.